That's like the look of love right there.
Oh, we're filming?
Wake up, Ian. Hello. You don't even look at me that way.
I mean, we spent a lot of time together this past week, you know. It's a moment of passion. Uh, got this new welder, HTP America. USAWeld.com is their website. I want to thank Brent from Half-Ass Customs. Brent and Esther visited us and helped us with our project, the big truck, the little big truck. And he said, you know, I know a company I have a relationship with, and they make an awesome welder. So I spoke with the fella there. He was just very supportive of our YouTube channel. He knew the TV show, and he's like, you got to try this. It's a, relatively new technology. It's an inverter style welder. That's the electrical stuff going on inside. And you can see how compact it is. So I've been using this for approximately 1 week. This is a 220 volt MIG welder, and I use it primarily for steel, but it will weld aluminum as well as the flux core steel wire. The thing that interested me most, we had tried other welders. I was looking for a new tool, and when I was introduced to this, the salesman said, yeah, check it out. It's got 2 knobs, just like all the old-fashioned stuff. And I tested out other welders, and it was like, I don't even know, like trying to program the space shuttle or something. So he said, check it out. It's just like the old days. You got your wire speed, and you got your heat. So it is very complex and modern inside, but it comes in a simple package. Again, it's all new technology with the inverter. The older style welders are a transformer in there. That's why you hear that humming when they're just on. It's a different gig. You could see this one is not nearly as powerful, of a welder as the larger one, but it's going to do everything we need to with car building. It'll weld, they tell you right here on the inside, there's a whole panel here describing it can weld from 24 gauge up to 1/4 inch, depending on how you set it up. And I don't know exactly what the duty cycle is, but I've been using this for a week in my regular routine, and it hasn't even flinched. There's been nothing to complain about with this. It's super easy to load the wire, really simple inside. It's got 1 on-off switch and 2 knobs. I love that. So using it all week, I got to give it, if I had 3 thumbs, there'd be 3 thumbs up because it's that cool. It's a hot spark. It's way different than the transformer welder I've been used to. And it seems like I don't know if it's a smart welder or what, but it's a breeze to use.
So what would you say is, since you've been welding this week, what have you noticed that's different about this one than the big welder? Is it like the welding gun, the response time?
So it's a different feeling than the older welder. Of course, my welder I've been using for 10 years. It's a little slow to start. Jamie has seen me fussing with the thing because the wire binds up, the nozzle clogs, it burns back. It's just all kinds of stuff. So yeah, this is brand new and it's flawless. It has a pretty cool torch that's an accessory that they gave to me to test out. So it's a flexible torch, so you can pose it pretty much any way you need to weld, which I thought was super neat, and it's really proving extra valuable with working in the confines of like the rear suspension when you can't reach in. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
yeah, so the arc, it's hard to describe, but if you listen to it, it just sounds like harder. It's just like really, really energetic, whereas the other one was like a soft kind of a, sizzling bacon sound. This thing is like raging. And it doesn't burn through sheet metal nearly. I mean, I haven't burned through because, I'm used to it, but the older style welder, it always seemed, like a more of an art to get the thin sheet metal to weld together. And this thing's a ripper. It just goes in.
So would you say that this kind of welder would be like a good first welder for somebody? Because these are fairly affordable.
Yeah, the price point is a little bit more than the absolute low budget welder you would get, but I think between the simplicity of the startup and again the table on the door here tells you exactly how to set your wire speed. So not knowing anything about welding, if you just did what this says and turn the two knobs to where the numbers say,
Right.
you're going to get a result. My first try when I was 14 years old was nothing like this. I had an arc welder. I was trying to weld some sheet metal on a car. I was just ruining it. So yeah, with this, I'm sure, with an hour of messing around, you'd be in the ballpark if you knew nothing about welding. That's just my assessment of it. I could do a couple welds here, and I was messing around on the inside of the Zephyr, because you'll see. So there's a ton of welding to do here inside the Zephyr, but I just wanted to show same size wire. See this weld here? That's from the older machine. You can see how it's just a big dot, right, with that sunken center. Now that really shows how the weld cools off. And look at these tight little...
Oh, that's a new welder.
Yeah, you can clearly see the difference. Same size wire. So, again, they both work equally well, but it's just I'm noticing that difference. And he also told me, the salesman told me, that there's less of a heat-affected zone with this inverter welder. So just messing around, to your left, you see these big gaps here?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, fit up, right? Me being the sheet metal guy, should have fit that up a little bit better, but you can cheat it a bit. So I just took that welder, and I just started laying it in as the gap grew bigger and bigger. And it fills pretty substantially. I bet if I try not to kill the shadow here.
Yeah, that's good.
I bet if I turn that welder down, I could fill that gap with 030 wire. It's just a different type of heat, the way it puts it to the steel. I think the penetration, for strength is all there. It's just interesting how different it is. Want to weld?
Are you asking me if I want to weld?
Well, I mean, would you like to discuss some welding theory?
Yes, I would actually.
Well, check it out. Let's just turn this on, fire it up, and give it a run. Simple knob.
Yeah, the last time I tried to weld with Ian, I used this giant welder, and the splatter went down into my boot, and it burned me. And I never touched the welder again. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I like the discussion with the fella from this company, because he said exactly what I'm saying. It's like, welding is welding, right? But it's about, what tools you're comfortable with, and the results you get depend upon your skill level or your comfort level, in your case. I'm not saying that this one won't burn you, but you'll see it's a tidier operation than that larger, older welder. So,
and then my other question for you is, you're using gas with this welder as well, right?
With the MIG welders I always use gas. It's 75% CO2, 25% argon. Sorry, it's the opposite. It's 75% argon, 25% CO2. So for steel, I always use that. Flux core it's okay for cars, but this is a cleaner result. No slag. So I've been using this for a week, and I'm a pro. I like to run it, right? So I have this set up way more aggressive than they require in this table. So pretty easy to read. Okay, well, what are we doing, right? What does all this mean? So what I just mentioned, we're using that shielding gas. We have that wire, direct current, electrode positive. The gas in the flow meter is exactly what we've been doing with the other welder, but this is what you have to read. That's the small wire. 030 is what we're using. So you go across. We're welding 20 gauge, right? So you'll find they're saying 16 volts and 135 wire speed. But because I like to run it hot, I was hitting 240 wire speed and 17.5 volts. So what that means is on sheet metal, that will burn through, but I like it hot.
So you're going to have me weld on the Zephyr?
Yeah.
Really? What if I burn through it?
Say that again?
I said, you're going to have me weld on the Zephyr?
Yeah.
And then I said, what if I burn through the sheet metal?
That's the magic of what we're learning here.
Okay.
It's going to fill it right up.
All right.
First, I'm going to weld, and you're going to hear it's going to be like a raging electrical current because I got this thing set up to rock.
Boy.
So one thing also, their table that I was reading, okay, 20 gauge to 20 gauge is butt welding, right? So their setting is optimal for that. You're filling in that seam so you don't burn through. We are lap welding, one on top of the other, and also we're welding 20 gauge to 1/8 inch wall steel all over this project. So that's why I have this set up so hot. I mentioned in other videos, when you're aiming the torch, it has an effect on which way the heat goes and the wire size. And then if there's a gap between the two, it affects it also. So for instance, up here, you see you got the 1/8 inch wall tube and 20 gauge steel here, right? And there's no gap. That's perfect. So I can point this right into that center and we'll hear what it sounds like. So you heard that little bit of hesitation in the beginning? Because this could be set potentially much hotter. But let's put it where there's a gap. Ready? So it hit right now, no hesitation, and it filled that gap perfectly. Now down here, when you got 20 gauge lapping on 20 gauge, that hot setting is perfect. It goes right to work. And just a very powerful, like secure feeling weld. And this is what I was really interested in. Look at this gap. And this is only for show, right? Putting the heat into the heavier wall tube, and I'm just letting that puddle hit onto the 20 gauge steel. And that's pretty impressive to jump that kind of gap. That's what I was saying. I could fill that up, but I'm probably just going to build a piece of sheet metal. So yeah, again, through here, it's going to spot right down the way. You ready? You know, when I'm working, it's just like this. And I was doing that for, half hour, 40 minutes without this machine even missing a beat. So I'm impressed. I like that it's 220 volt because it's a little more duty cycle than the 110 machine of this caliber, this size. The fan cycles in its own way. It's light. I mean, that's all there is.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it after it got delivered. It was like in the little box. I was like, that's it? Cool.
It's a little bit like other machines I've had. Fan is automatic. See, it knows when it's hot or whatever. It's the MiG 2000i. Comes with this cool manual. I really enjoyed the instructions on the setup. When I say simplicity, that's as deep as it gets.
That's cool.
Figure one.
Right.
That's how you turn it on. And that's how you use it. The last welder we tried, the manual was this thick. It was in 10 different languages. You had to go online to figure it out. This thing, it's intuitive. If you've ever welded, wire speed and heat, it's a go. I'm stoked.
And I'm going to have the link in the description, also in the pinned comment, and when I post to Facebook, we do have a private Facebook group. It's the Full Custom Ian YouTube community. I'll have it pinned in the comments there as well.
Yeah. It's some good news, I'll tell you what. I was needing a new welder, and this thing fits the bill for everything
I'm really happy for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done some heavier stuff too with the shock mounts in the rear. Again, this says 1/4 inch plate. I was using 3/16 030 wire, no problem. Nice hot arc, did everything I needed it to.
Sold.
Not a salesman, I'm just spreading the good news. It's your big moment.
I brought my work gloves.
I'm telling you, this
Look how
welder,
clean they are.
Yeah. Sign of a professional. You're ready to work.
Yep. I always have a pen. I have my gloves, fully charged phone, backup battery.
Stethoscope, blood pressure cuff.
Hey, you never know. I might return one day to that profession. We'll see.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is just step into those spot welds, and the trigger is a little bit different than the other welder we're using, but I'd say that you can just gun it. You're not going to burn through. Just grip it. And
Is it set at that super?
It's ready
Oh
to
gosh,
go.
it's set at that super high. I'm scared I'm gonna burn myself.
That's a nice shirt. You're going to burn it.
I'm gonna burn it.
Totally.
Dang it. Okay, now I gotta do a wardrobe change.
It's your big moment.
I'm scared because the last time, seriously, y'all, the last time I welded, I got burnt and I think I ran out of like the shop. I like took my gloves off and I ran out of the shop and I was so upset because I was so burnt. It hurt really bad. We were, remember we were doing that big fire pit and everyone said that fire pit was going to fail.
Didn't
And then
fail.
how much did we burn in it?
Half the universe.
Literally. So that was what, if you guys know about our giant fire pit from the ranch, that's the last time that I welded, and that was like 4 years ago.
Well, the good news is this is only 20 gauge. That thing was 1/4-inch steel.
Okay. That makes me
So-
feel better.
Yeah, just make yourself comfortable in there. You can lean however you like. I would recommend maybe getting in the driver's front door.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Like sitting down. You could sit down or just, yep, exactly.
Oh, God. And then just pick.
Well, move towards the rear where those, spaces are. That's the front.
Mm-hmm.
You can move towards the rear.
Okay.
And just, you got the auto darkening helmet, so just put your shield down and just kind of put it anywhere you want and give it a try. That's what I'm saying.
I did it. If the wire is a little long, is that all right?
I'd say that length is acceptable, but you could just hold these in your hand. I'm going to film this while I do it.
Okay.
So kind of a good thing is to just a little bit out of the nozzle. Oops. And cut it right there. Okay. So a lot of times when you're MIG welding, for a good result, you'll keep your snips right there with you.
Okay. You ready?
Ready. Now hold it just a little longer on that tack.
So should I go back to that tack?
Sure.
Okay.
A little longer.
Oh.
So I would say bzzz,
Okay.
like a bee. Bzzz.
You ready?
Ready. Okay. You're holding the torch too close to the metal. It shouldn't be touching.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm doing wrong. Oh, boy.
That's not a problem because what you did was you cleaned the material out of the nozzle of the torch. So you want this metal part to not, I'm trying to look at the camera. You want this metal part to not be touching the surface.
Oh, okay.
That's where you brace. You could brace your hand
Yeah,
on the car floor.
Yeah, I see you bracing a lot.
Always, yep.
So like that?
Yeah, and just a good
You
1
ready?
second, yep. A little bit longer. You could hold the trigger a little longer.
On this one?
Any of them, yep. Yep, that's perfect.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Just right down the lane.
Was that long enough or should it have been a longer buzz?
Well, look at the result, and you can judge it by what's beside it.
Yeah, that's
A
true.
longer weld will create a larger bead.
Now this far along, I should clip it.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all do this. Wow.
It's like when we went sailing. I didn't know how they did that either.
Oh, boy.
By the end of the 3-hour tour, we were all sailing.
That was fun. Take me back.
Yeah. Just like when we're on the sailboat, you're not going to mess it up. You're not going to sink the ship.
I don't
Anything
want to
goes.
sink the
It's a
ship.
learning experience.
You ready?
I'm ready. That's where you want to be, right there.
Yeah, this is way less scarier than the last time.
Yeah, to reiterate, this is an absolute novice
Literally.
getting good results.
So would you clip it if it were this long?
Well, you've noticed how I cheat a lot when you'll hear me click the trigger off of a piece of the car or whatever. That's not the right way to do it. But
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I feel like I would burn myself.
so what you could do is a rapid succession of tack welds. Yeah, that's exactly it. That length of time in that position. Doesn't look like you're burning through to me. See, when you just keep moving, you don't have to clip the wire.
Yeah, I noticed that. It just kind of melts like butter. I didn't burn myself, guys.
Yeah, just finish off that seam. Now blow on the tip like a real cowboy.
I did it.
Sharpshooter.
That was fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing, for an absolute novice to get results like right there, right away. That's pretty cool.
And it was easy to use. I didn't feel like, seriously, the other welder, it just was scary to use it. I don't know. And then I burnt myself. But yeah, this one I could see teaching yourself how to weld using this. All right, I gotta say, I enjoyed welding. Maybe I'll be behind the scenes doing some of the welding in here. Maybe that's what we'll do. Some time lapse. Yeah, I'm in here welding.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go to the gym and you can weld the floors on the car. I like it.